Welcome to Real Food. You know, our families are often a source of support and challenge, a place where we first learn about our faith. We know that honoring our parents is one of the commandments, and that honoring takes many different forms at different times in our lives. Well, our chef today honors his parents all the time. He has a long-standing tradition with serving people and sharing his faith with others, and I want you to welcome Tom Avallone, who is from a great new restaurant in Farmingdale called Trento. Thanks for being with us. We're glad you're here.
Pleasure indeed. It's
all
mine. It's an honor.
The best way ever. I was incognito in your restaurant having dinner with some friends, and I'm eating this food, and I'm saying, oh, man, I got to get this guy on our show. It's fabulous. And, like, each dish, now, I was with four of us all together, and I tried all four appetizers. I tried all four entrees and some dessert, too, and each thing was fantastic. So I was like, who is this guy? You were happy and kind enough to come to the table, and we got talking, and I was so glad I could get you to come here. This is like a dream come true for me.
Oh, it's an honor and a privilege for me as well to be here.
You're a Catholic guy, a Eucharistic minister.
That's correct.
Not only do you serve here in this diocese in your church, but you spent a number of years down in the Caribbean, right?
Sure, on the islands of Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, St. Croix, and Antigua.
Unbelievable. And we were talking before the show because my dad is from St. Martin in the West Indies, and we had common places. Like you worked at Little Bay, right? You were there for a while.
Right, and you were next door.
And Great Bay is where my aunt is the general manager at Great Bay, right next door to there. So it's really terrific. What a great thing.
It's a very small world in which we live.
And then you, the story goes, Tom, you changed your life, came back home to be with your parents, right?
Right. I have my mother and father that are both still alive, which is a privilege and an honor.
Sure.
And I figured if they took care of me for so many years in my life growing up, I think it was deserving of them that I come on over and do the same for them.
Beautiful.
I have no regrets, and I'm looking forward to a long and healthy life with them as long as they may be around.
Now, how many years are they married?
Mom and Dad have been married 62 years.
That's great.
As a matter of the 21st of
Isn't
September.
That great? Isn't that great? So. Because I know my parents are 57. Okay. But again, what a privilege to have your parents, right?
It definitely is.
Yeah, I feel the
people
same
don't
way.
know it.
Yeah,
it
I feel the exact same way. And really, God gives us that grace, and then it's that ability to give back to them when they gave so much to us, right?
Of course.
I think I know the answer. How did you learn? How did you start cooking?
Oh, it's Mom, grandmother.
Yeah, right? Without a doubt,
my grandmother, my mother, watching them in the kitchen and running under the table. When my grandmother had the meat sauce and the meatballs, I'd run underneath the dining room table.
Get a little something going?
I thought I got away with it. She'd look underneath the table. Is it good?
That's great. And your mother is Sicilian, right?
My mother was born in Carlton, Azetta, Sicily. Yes,
so there's a little bit of Sicilian influence there, too?
Yes, a lot of it, definitely, without a doubt.
Beautiful. That's great. Well, I know that like some of what you're cooking here has a certain Sicilian kind of...
It does. A lot of it has to do with the restaurant and the owners of the restaurant, which is the...
Let's talk about Trento a minute, too, before we get cooking. Because what's interesting about it, first of all, excellent high-quality food.
Yes.
But not your traditional Italian necessarily fare, right?
It takes on a whole new wave. What happens, Emilio Brancanelli is the owner, as well as Anthony Greco. Both of them together have conglomerated a wonderful array of menu items, which we work together to perfect in every which way. Oresto, who is the grandfather to Lorenzo and Maximilian, who are Emilio's sons, have gotten involved in it, and Rosanna was the wife, and they look for the utmost in quality, utmost in the perfect matching and pairing of foods. And that's what we do. We don't mind spending a little bit more, but getting the best in quality.
Isn't that great? Good thing. All right, so anyway, what are we going to cook here? Because I'm noticing something that I've seen, but not often in this form.
You haven't seen it in this form. Most people have it. What happened is Emilio's father-in-law, Oresto came up with it, and it's a family tradition. What it's called popo salad. Now, popo salad is octopus. And what we do with that is a long process. I'm not able to do the whole process here, so through the magic of television, we'll go through the paces, and I've had different stages of it. Now, what happens is with popo,
show us an
octopus.
This
is what it looks like.
A real living, breathing octopus.
We use a fresh octopus with all of its tentacles, as you would normally never see, and that's how it starts.
And I love this, but when you see it like that, you say to yourself,
"Oh, do I really want to eat this?"
And how long did you say that has to cook?
This is going to go sit in a boiling pot of water with a little bit of salt and a little bit of white vinegar, and it's going to sit there for about 4 hours, maybe to 6 hours, depending on the thickness and on the tenderness that I want of it. And I want it mouth-watering, and you keep poking it with a fork to make sure that it just goes in very smoothly.
Now, is that guy going to take a bath?
This guy is going to take a bath. What I'm going to do is we got a pot of water that's boiling here. It already has in here, it has the white vinegar. It's got the sea salt in it. Then what I do is I take this and I place it into the boiling water.
Don't be afraid, kids.
Yes. Doesn't feel anything. It automatically curls up already, and that's going to go through its paces. Lower the heat, let it come to a boil, And that'll go. And that'll go for 4 hours, 5 hours. I keep testing it with a fork to make sure that it's got the right consistency.
So that's stage one
That's
of this.
stage
So
one
let
of
me take
it.
this for you.
Okay. Then what happens is we go to stage 2 of the process. Now, stage 2 of the process is after it's done in a cooking process, I take it and in its same form, what I do is I have to let it chill down. So I put it into the walk-in cooler so it comes down to temperature.
So this
and
is
that'll
what they
go
look
overnight.
like after 4 or 6 hours,
exactly.
Right?
That's what it's going to look like after the 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours of cooking. That's already at a chilled stage. And then what happens is sometimes what I'll do is I'll do this and I can put this right on the grill. Okay, but see how that comes out?
Yep, that's beautiful.
That comes out beautifully, and that's what I do. And this is where the popo salad now begins to take shape and form.
Okay.
Because all of the tentacles are taken off. It gives you that juicy piece of meat.
But it's a labor-intensive meal.
It really is. It's done with a labor of love.
Yeah,
you have to have love and a want and a desire to make that happen.
One of the 7 fishes of Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You do the calamari, you do the popo, you do the shrimp, you do the clams.
And our Italian grandmothers did this from scratch, right?
Of course. Every single Christmas Eve, that's what we did.
Yeah, the same thing.
And then what happens is, the best part of this is, I've got some of it that's already cleaned.
So this is beautiful. Look how nice and clean these are.
And that's what it looks like when it's done.
Yeah.
And then all I do with this now is it's a real simple process. We take it and we slice it on a little bit of a bias, is what we're looking at. Okay, beautiful. So it comes out, it's a tender piece of meat. We slice it all up a little bit.
Kind of the consistency, would you say like crabby, almost like?
It's almost like crabby. Like some people actually think that when we do this, it's actually done with a mayonnaise base. Okay. And now you can actually have this just the way it is.
Yeah, sure.
But we don't season it with mayonnaise. We take some extra virgin olive oil. We take some freshly ground garlic. We add a little salt and some pepper. We take a little bit of fresh parsley and a little dash of lemon. And it becomes a complete dish.
Now, this is like a main course?
This is an appetizer. I've had people that have asked for a double portion of it because they thought it was so delightful and delicious and they wanted to have it and enjoy it as a dining experience. And I have no problem with doing that at all. That works to anybody's experience.
Now, let me ask you this, too, on another note. On your homemade pasta, like, do you make those pastas right there, too?
Yes, we do a wide range of pasta.
Incredible pasta.
Spaghetti, linguine, rigatoni, and fettuccine, all made fresh downstairs. And that's also made throughout the day.
Wow.
I make that every time we run out. And like I said, once we run out, we run downstairs and we make it. The process is relatively easy because it's only a mixture of the semolina flour and or the caputo flour that we use and egg.
Right.
And that's it. And we have a wonderful machine downstairs, so it makes it a little easier. Not like the gavadelli, which my grandmother used to make with her thumb.
Let's not talk about gavadelli. I had a disaster story with that already.
Oh, but that always works to your advantage.
That happens. Yeah, that happens.
Now what happens is everything that goes into this dish is real simple. And what's the most important on any dish that we prepare?
Yeah,
it's fresh ingredients. Fresh ingredients is always first and foremost in everything we do.
And fresh ingredients makes all the difference in the world. Really,
of course.
Right? I mean, and they taste better. That's the truth. I mean,
yes.
I was saying before, I've joined like an organic community garden this year.
Okay.
That the Dominican Sisters run in
Sure.
Amityville. And I tell you, I was never really into the organic food before, but it tastes much better. It's unbelievable.
It has a different flavor entirely. You got to remember, there's antibiotic free. There's no. That's when we do with our chickens. But then you're talking about no pesticides and things of that nature.
I'm so not used to that.
It's general compost.
Yeah.
So that makes it more of an exciting and a different flavoring.
It's really amazing.
We put some of the celery, the fresh celery. I already have in here some chopped garlic, which is in a little bit of extra virgin olive. Just a little bit of a tease on that goes in there.
That's nice.
What happens, salt and pepper. What happens, a little bit of the salt and pepper. We take some of our kosher salt to put in there, some salt and pepper. Take a lemon, slice up the lemon.
And already this is looking fantastic.
Oh,
this is reminding me of Christmas Eve right away.
Of course.
Now, how did you guys work it on Christmas Eve? Did you go to church and then eat, or you ate?
We went. What happens is, as we were younger, we went and we had our dinner, and then we went to church, and then we went to church, and then we ate. But as we got older, the family got together, and we did all of our fish, and then we'd go early in the morning. We do the 8 o'clock mass in the morning.
That's the mass I always take for that reason.
I like that one, and that worked out really nice for us. I'm just going to sneak over here if I can get the extra virgin olive oil. This is in the yellow here. This is extra virgin olive oil.
Like, did you ever on Christmas Eve? Let me ask you this: spadini. Did you ever do that? Like, there's some Sicilian traditions where they do the rolled veal on the stick and they grill them after the midnight mass.
No, I never did that. I've heard of it, but I've never done that.
Yeah, different traditions celebrate different ways, as you know.
Oh, yeah. There is so many things that go on in this world, and every Italian family has a different tradition that they hold near and dear to themselves. And then to finish it off, what we do is we take some fresh parsley. I've already got it chopped up here. A little fresh parsley to finish that dish off. And as a matter of fact, I also work very heavily with the Aruba Tourism Authority.
Wow.
And every year, the New York City Food and Wine Festival, which is sponsored by it's Southern Wine and Spirits, to benefit the hungry.
Wow.
Last year I did this salad for 4,500 people.
Oh, my Lord. Wow.
And it was a wonderful experience, as it is every year, because it gives back to those that are underprivileged and don't have. And that's as simple as this is.
Look how nice that looks, right? Now you're going to plate that up?
And this gets plated. Now, what happens with this here, it's a wonderful plating opportunity. Eye appeal is very important to when we're doing dishes.
And food, right?
Exactly.
In general. I mean, we eat with our eyes. Yeah.
But if it doesn't hold both aspects of it, the look and the taste, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
What I do is I take either a little radicchio, it's just for some added color, because the fish has got, the octopus has got its color and all.
Sure.
I take a little radicchio. It's as a center plate idea. And I peel this off.
Beautiful. That works well. Yeah, sure.
And because radicchio's got that little bitterness of it, and you can eat it as well. So we put a little radicchio. I take a little of the endive. It's more of a decoration that we use it for.
Sure.
So I take a little endive over here.
Look at that, how beautiful. Wow.
And we put another piece on the opposite side. Everything in food, what do they say? It's always 2, it's always 3, 5, and 7 you want to do. And then what we do is I take some of this like this.
Look at that. And the color is great. The aroma is so fresh. It's just terrific.
And we'll make the popo salad each and every day. At night is when we cook it off. And then in the morning, when it's already finished its process.
Yeah, sure.
That's when we get ready to clean it and we get ready to serve it.
Absolutely beautiful. Wow.
And then what happens is,
look at that. Isn't that great,
that's what
everybody?
your popo salad looks like.
Absolutely beautiful. It's not Christmas, though, but we got beautiful octopus salad here. Absolutely terrific from Trento. We have another great recipe with Chef Thompson. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot more to go. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Food, everybody. Joining me today from Trento, Chef Tom Avallone. Thank you for being here, my friend.
It's a pleasure.
You did a great job on number 1. Wow.
So I've been told.
And I mean, the octopus was like, he wasn't alive, but it might as well have been alive. That's pretty good. You know what I want to ask you about? Your faith and cooking, because you're a guy who's got a lot of church experience. Right?
Yes,
altar server.
Right.
You worked in the sacristy.
Worked in the sacristy, worked in the rectory at Blessed Sacrament, Eucharistic minister.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, do you bring faith into the kitchen too?
You know what? Everything is done with passion, love, and desire. As much as I would like to say it surrounds you. It does surround you. God is there. He's been there with me. He's been there for me.
Yeah.
You say a cat's got 9 lives. He has been looking out for me throughout my whole life.
Isn't that great?
And I'm very pleased and very happy. And, a church-going man. I still go to church. I started the English-speaking mass on the island of Aruba when I was working on the island of Aruba. The bishop used to come into my restaurant, wanted to know why, as a Eucharistic minister, I was not at church. I said, I'm not going to sit, stand, and kneel on command.
Sure.
Well, he looked at the pastor and says, well, why don't you do the mass in English, Father Rene? It was like one of those sections where I opened up my mouth and inserted my foot, because then I was doing all the readings. I was doing all the collections. I went to every hotel and made up a flyer that the mass is in English at Santa Ana's.
Isn't that great?
And it was mesmerizing.
Beautiful.
And it was just overwhelming, the amount of tourists that go.
I was going to say, you opened up the door for so many tourists, probably, right?
It's not a $5, it's not a guilder, it's not a dollar. It was a 50, 100,
Sure,
and it was
sure.
mesmerizing. It really was.
After
It was a good warming experience.
A good night at the casino.
Well, exactly. I'm sure a lot of them prayed for that as they were dropping that $100 into the church basket.
And then you and I know Father Wilson from St. Martin.
St. Martin, Father Simon Wilson, yes,
and that's
wonderful
where
man.
I celebrated my first Mass was in St. Martin, in this little town called Simpson Bay,
Okay,
which
sure.
is right near the airport.
Yes.
And I had it was a little brick church, beautiful little church in the middle of nowhere, literally, but a place very near and dear to my heart. I still go down to visit my relatives down there, too.
It's a wonderful
And the
place.
food is fantastic there,
Oh,
too.
you can. You got the Dutch side and the French side. So
Yeah.
you get the blending of both worlds coming
Absolutely
together.
great, right? And there was a place on the French side. I'm going to ask you one on TV. I'm going to ask you, La Vie en Rose.
Oh, surely. Yes, on the second floor, La Vie en Rose. Yes.
My cousin owns that.
Really wonderful opportunity.
Isn't it great? It's a good
great
spot, right?
Food, great food.
Yeah, great food. Good. I'm glad you like that place.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite places on this planet. That's good.
I'm glad I was there and knew about it.
There you go. So now, what are we doing here? This looks like an ordinary Saturday night for me.
Well, you know what it is? It is, because you know what happens is you want people to feel comfortable in the kitchen, and I'm making a chicken bruschetta. It's fresh tomatoes.
Yep.
It's fresh mozzarella. It's basil agor, and it's got to be fresh, and then it's garlic.
Wow.
A little
Isn't that
salt
great?
and pepper.
Boy.
Everything is
All
fresh.
natural.
It's all natural.
I love that.
And it's a mouthwater. best part about it, it could be done warm and you could eat it, or you can do it cold.
Isn't that
Put
great?
it on a panini bread. It's phenomenal. The juices are tender. It's a mouth-watering delight.
Wow, I love
and you're
it.
going to see it in just a few moments.
Yeah, well, let's get it going.
Okay,
What do you have to do?
it's a
How do
real
you start?
simple process. What I'm going to do.
And you also have some fresh mozzarella here.
Oh yeah, well the fresh mozzarella goes on it to add it to the bruschetta. We add a little tingle of that, and
That's
fresh
wonderful.
mozzarella is great. And a little bit out of the refrigerator when it's a little warm is good. I'm going to take the chicken cutlets, which I've already have cleaned. And what
you
we do
pounded
is
them down a little bit, right?
Pounded a little bit. We put a little flour on them. Be careful because we're both wearing
Yes,
black.
I know. We wear black for a living, both of us. It's true.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it. We put it in the egg wash.
Now, I have two things to ask you about on your menu, okay? While we're doing this?
Sure.
Burrata. Explain why that's such a hot thing right now.
Burrata is a wonderful opportunity
It's a kind of mozzarella,
It
right?
is a mozzarella, but what it is, it's a mozzarella that's been stuffed with a mixture of cream and shredded mozzarella.
Wow.
And the way we do it at our restaurant, at Trento, what I do is we take it and we do it with a fig spread.
Wow.
We also do it with a jalapeno cranberry jelly.
Why
and we
did I-
also do it with a pomegranate hot pepper
Where
jelly.
have I been? Why did I miss that? I didn't see that.
That
and,
is-
and I love burrata. I really do.
Oh,
but
it's mesmerizing.
It's very hot now.
Wonderful.
It's a big item now.
Yes, and you mix it with the fig is wonderful. The hot jelly peppers are wonderful.
Yeah, I
it's
love
not.
that.
And then I do it with a little sprinkling of balsamic glaze as well.
Love it.
Which is nice. I got the frying pan on. I'm going to
Frying
make a
pan's
little bit of
nice.
a sizzle.
And then these chicken cutlets are going to. And there's another nice thing about this is a chicken cutlet. If you pan fry it, it doesn't necessarily make it very unhealthy, right?
No,
If the
well-
oil's at a hot enough temperature.
Exactly. You're going to sear it on, and it's like anything. It's like when you talk about a potato. A potato is a wonderful thing when it's in its whole form. The more you slice that potato and the more you expose it to oil, the more unhealthier it gets.
Sure.
But when it's flavorful like that,
Right.
it's like,
What are you
okay.
going to do, right? What are you going to do?
It's something we have to do.
So there
So
they
we're
go.
going to put that in there. That's going to fry. And what happens is, normally what I would do with this, I keep it on a lower temperature so I can fry it completely if I don't have an oven. If I
Okay.
do have an oven, what I'll do is after I pan sear it on both sides, then I'll place it in an oven, a 350 oven, to bring the internal temperature up to 165, 185
And then we're
for
safe.
chicken. And then we're safe to do that.
Now, one little diversion: veal chop. I had a taste of a veal chop at your place. Now, here's the deal: I didn't order that.
Okay.
I had swordfish, which was fantastic.
Yeah, oh, sure.
But my friend who was sitting next to me had veal chop.
Okay.
So she said, "You want to try this?" I said, "Oh yeah."
Oh, of course.
So then I tried this with a little piece of shiitake mushroom that you had on that.
I got to apologize.
shiitake?
Not shiitake. It's a portobello mushroom.
portobello?
It's a white silver
Yes,
dollar
yes, yes,
mushroom.
exactly.
It's artichoke hearts and hot cherry peppers for a little warming
Well, let me tell
sensation. Not enough to burn you, just enough to make you feel a tingle.
But now, are you using the same style breading for that when you do a veal chop?
I am using that. But there I take a 14-ounce veal chop.
It's giant.
I pound it paper thin.
It's incredible.
And then I do the same egg wash, flour, breadcrumb. And then what I do is I pan sear it. Very important is pan searing. No fry light, it's pan seared. Take it out, finish it off in the oven, and then we do it with a marsala brown
Yeah.
sauce. And once that's done, it gets poured over it. And did you notice we took away the knife?
Yeah, there's no knife allowed.
no
by the
knife.
way.
I don't allow a
You have
knife.
to cook it. You have to eat it with a fork, and it cuts like butter. And the
Exactly.
Dawn thing tastes like veal. And usually, things taste like fried to
Yes,
me.
no,
And
no.
that's my favorite flavor, fried. So it makes it okay. But this actually tastes like veal.
Fried is always good.
Yeah,
But
but
veal,
it's
you
such
want
a
the intensity
delicious
of the
thing.
flavors to come out, and the least amount of mutilation you have to do to it,
Sure.
the much better it
What a
works
great
out to your
thing.
adventures.
So now these chicken cutlets, ultimately, they could fry and go all the way, right?
Oh, sure, definitely. You keep the oil well enough, because what you want to do is you want to create a golden brown scenario.
Okay.
And that's always the best for it. The golden brownness gives you a little bit of a crunch on the outside, keeps the warmth on the inside, and makes it juicy and tender.
Beautiful.
Okay,
very,
that's
very
what we
good.
look to do. As that's actually frying, then what you do is really easy. The bruschetta is simply made. What I do is I take the plum tomatoes, I open them up, I take them, I cut them, and then what I do with them is I take them and I'm going to put them into julienne style. And after they're julienne, what I do is I cut them into little cubes. Those little cubes are then going to go into a pan or into a bowl. And then we're also going to take some fresh mozzarella. Fresh mozzarella is a warming sensation because it's nice. It gives you
And creamy.
the creaminess
and yet
of
it's
it.
not a cream sauce. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
enough cream, but not overwhelming.
So you take the fresh mozzarella, and what we do here is I have some already cut into cubes, and it's a sound. You see how tender that is? We take it, we cube it up.
It's beautiful, yeah.
That goes in.
And do you keep that like at a room temperature?
It's better at room temperature. If you'd like to try a piece,
I'll
you can
make sure
try
it's not poison, I'm
yes,
concerned.
exactly. Isn't that wonderful? And then what I do.
Salt in that too. It's terrific.
Exactly. It's
Really great.
just enough. Because salt is not a flavor, it's an enhancer.
Yeah,
and that's why you need to put some salt in there. Salt makes everything a little bit better.
Yeah, very, very good. Now, this tomato, how do you seed this tomato like that? You just scoop it out?
What happens is, I'll show you, it's a simple process, and what I'll do with it is I'll take one of them, and what you do is you're taking a tomato like this here.
Yeah.
You're going to cut it in half. I like to do it the way that everybody would, makes it easy for people at home. You take a spoon, you take the tomato, you run it through it, you pull it out like this, bring it over to the stem pot,
and it's perfect.
And it's perfectly done. The insides are done. You don't want the seeds in there, whether you're making a sauce or whether you're making the bruschetta.
The
you don't want
get a little bitter, and they can give you a little indigestion too.
Exactly,
right?
and that's not flavorful at all. Yeah. And then the next most important ingredient in it is fresh.
Now, where would you find it?
Basilic. I love
where
basilic.
Where you find it at that size? It's like the size of an elephant's
I used to grow that in my backyard.
You did really?
On the island of Aruba.
Really?
In my restaurant.
Really?
And when people used to come into my rrestaurant, they had to go through my garden, come into my kitchen, then go to the table.
Wow, so they get
people
to see it all.
that knew of me, they would come in, they would peel out eggplant. They'd walk in, Tom, make me the eggplant parmesan.
Oh,
Tom,
no.
I want the mozzarella caprese.
Really?
And that's what I did. Now, smelling it. Now, I'm going to tell you something that maybe you may not know, and maybe you do know. If I was to take this big leaf, take this leaf right here, take that leaf, and smell that leaf. Mm-hmm. Now, that smells wonderful. It's got a beautiful aroma to it. Right.
Beautiful.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take and smell that leaf.
Wow. Wow, this is intense.
Bigger is not always better in this world. What happens is the intensity of that the aroma is right in there, and that's what we love to feel.
That's for sure. Wow.
And that takes on the whole flavor. So that's what I like to do. I put a little basilic in here. We take a little pepper. We take a little salt. We take a little bit of the red onion. We chop the red onion very small.
Red onion is a wonderful.
Red onion is a wonderful. It's also a color enhancer, which is nice. Put a little red onion in there. Take a little extra virgin olive oil, if I may. Thank you.
Yellow.
This is the yellow one. It's for the extra virgin olive oil. Put a little extra virgin olive oil on this.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
I do take a little bit of the balsamic vinegar here, which is this here. Now, that would be the traditional bruschetta.
Right. Exactly.
At our restaurant, what we do is that we do it with a balsamic dressing.
Interesting, huh?
Okay, the balsamic dressing is we make that fresh every day at the restaurant as well.
And so it's not like intensely balsamic.
No, it's not intensely. And then we take a little bit of the garlic.
Wow.
Little bit of the chopped garlic. We put that in there.
So you get a little hint of that when you're in.
Exactly. And then you mix this up.
Look how beautiful that looks. Yeah, that looks terrific. Gorgeous.
And you got the basilic, and you can smell that flavor.
Yeah, it's just so fresh smelling.
It all comes out together. The basilic, the fresh tomatoes, the garlic, the red onion. It all comes together.
Wow.
Now what happens is I'm ready to plate this. Now, I've had some chickens through the magic of television, of course. So what happens is I've got some of the chicken that's
there you go. Sure, those you did earlier, I guess, right?
Right. We did this earlier at the show here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a chicken breast. We put a chicken breast here like this. We take another chicken breast like that.
Now, all of a sudden, to me, I'm saying, wow, that's a lot of food.
It is a lot of food, but you know what happens is, let me show you what makes this dish so much more entertaining and flavorful. Now I'm going to take.
Look at that, huh? Gorgeous. And just looks so good.
Well, it's all eye appeal. You want it to look inviting. You want it to look appetizing.
Wow.
You want the flavors to consume you. So that's what we do with that. Then just to add a little bit of the piece de resistance, what we do, we take a little...
a little glaze then, right? Wow.
Put a little balsamic glaze on top of that. Just a little bit. Not enough to hurt the dish, just enough to make it more and more flavorful.
Look how beautiful that looks, everybody.
And
what a
that's
great
what
dish.
you have.
Now, listen, this is the same chef who before was holding up an octopus and dropping it into water. But, you know, it takes everything. This is the beautiful gifts that God has given us, all these different wonderful foods to try and to taste, right? That's absolutely terrific. We're going to be back more with Chef Tom right after this, so stick around. More real food to come. Welcome back to Real Food. What a great day with you, boy.
Thank you.
Will you come back?
A pleasure.
Please come back.
Love to.
Because you're fantastic and just great food, fast. You know how to do it. You get it done. It's really terrific.
Doing it for a long time.
And listen, Trento is well worth the drive, no matter where you live. I know sometimes you're watching us right now in Los Angeles, or you're watching us in Texas. It's going to be tough. I understand. But if you're living locally, you live on Long Island, live in New York, you know, an opposite commute. Like you don't have to only eat in Manhattan. You can eat out on Long Island.
They tell us we're the Manhattan that's on Long Island. I even have a 94-year-old woman named Gertrude who comes to my restaurant for that veal chop.
Isn't that great?
Yes, wonderful.
Next time I'm there, that's what I'm having too. I'll tell you that right now. I enjoyed everything I had. Don't get me wrong. But I saw that veal chop. I was like, oh, baby. Now, listen, there's another thing about you I want to show everybody. Come over here.
Okay.
I can't believe this about you, Chef Tom. Now, this is a hobby of yours, really,
yes, it
right?
is. Yes,
How'd you ever start doing it?
It started a long time ago. I was getting a book on beaded flowers from my mother at the library over in Valley Stream. And right next to it was a book by Rosemary Disney on unique egg art.
So this is egg art. So these are all eggs.
Real eggs.
And they're like duck eggs and...
Duck eggs. I've had some goose eggs. They've got some chicken eggs, some double yolk eggs. They're all done. They're actually the whole egg itself. Like this Easter basket is made with the whole egg.
Wow.
This here is the umbrella. It's one egg. I've made eggs where my mother was making bread flowers.
Look at that.
And I made a rose to go inside of the egg.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
I made jewelry boxes.
Yeah, look at these boxes here.
Pictures I've done. I've done them where for Valentine's Day I make a heart and then I put a picture of a loved one inside.
So it becomes a gift that you can give people.
It is.
Too,
it's
right?
a wonderful gift. And then this one here goes a little bit unique. This is like almost a wedding celebration and happening. An engagement ring and then a wedding ring.
Wow, look at that, huh? That's beautiful, unbelievable. And then show us
then
this beautiful one right here.
The most enjoyable ones was during the Easter time. I made one, and you need to see how it looks up.
Yeah, and
you can see it's a stained glass effect, and that's all the egg itself.
Isn't
and
that
there's
something?
A crucifix inside.
Absolutely beautiful, incredible. And what a great, other thing about you. And that's something that's important to see. Chefs are chefs, of course, and they have jobs, and they have spiritualities, and they have families, but they also have likes too, and loves, right?
You need to disassociate yourself from reality every now and then, and this is a perfect escape.
Because your hours are long.
Oh, very long, very long.
You keep moving, and what time do you get home? You must get home.
I get home 11, 12 o'clock at night sometimes, and I'm starting at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's a long day.
And Mom is still waiting up for me.
Isn't that great? That's beautiful.
That's my baby.
And if you go to Trento, I'll tell you right now, he'll be at your table. He'll say hello to you because I see you work the crowd. You go to table to table. You ask people what they think.
Right, it's very important.
And you're real interested in that, which is a beautiful thing.
It's important to know what they're thinking while they're doing it. I don't want them to hide under the cloak of darkness at 3 o'clock in the morning on a computer. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. I'll tell you why you should have liked it, or I'll tell you what I can do to make it better for you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
But it's very important that I get your feedback immediately.
This is awesome, and I think this is the beginning of me becoming part of the Trento family.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for being here. It's a real honor, and hopefully you enjoyed too, because again, these are the dishes we can make at home, dishes we can enjoy at home, and very traditional in a lot of ways, and healthy too, which is an important thing. Well, let's pray for our families. Let's pray for one another. Let us pray. Lord, be merciful to your people. Fill us with your gifts and make us always eager to serve you in the people we love and in those we encounter in faith, hope, and love. And grant this through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless everybody, and we'll see you next time on Real Food.